So today we're making a seaweed and soba noodles salad. So I'm going to start off by first turning a pot of water on here to cook our soba noodles. So I've just turned that on to high heat, a couple of litres of water depending on how many you're making for. One pack of soba noodles will generally make enough for about 5 or 6 people. So I've turned that one on to a high heat, covered it with a lid so it'll boil quickly. Here I've got our seaweed. I've got here a mixture of seaweed. Predominantly it's arami seaweed. Seaweed is a fantastic thing. It's so full of nutrients and goodness. It's a really natural source of iodine. It's packed with minerals. You've got calcium in there, copper, magnesium, potassium, protein. Also it's got some of your vitamin Bs and loads of vitamin C, beta carotene also. So it's a dry form of seaweed, so we need to reconstitute it. So I'm just taking some pure water here using RO water, reverse osmosis. If you're doing something like this, it's good to use clean water the best you can. So you just need to cover it. Make sure no pieces are sticking out. Loosen in between the gaps there. Dry sort of seaweed you can generally pick up from either your Asian supermarket or the organic stores. I'll just put that to one side. We'll leave that for around 6 to 8 minutes and then it should, just enough so it feels soft basically and like fresh seaweed again. So we'll put that to one side. Let's check on our water. We'll start to prepare ingredients that are going in the salad. So I'll start off with about a half a chili. If you don't like it spicy, just remove the seeds. Cut into long strips and then a fine dice, just so as we're not getting big chunks of chili in there. And goes the chili. Take about half a tablespoon of grated ginger. Ginger always adds that really nice freshness and a little bit of zip to your dish. And it's quite good for aiding digestion, ginger. Also, if you have trouble with motion sickness, travel sickness, ginger tea is a really good one for giving balance there. If you get car sickness, just take a cup of ginger tea, thermos of ginger tea with you, or seasick. It's a really good one for that. So we've got our ginger, chili. I'm going to put 2 tomatoes in, remove the cores. Just going to put thin strips here of tomato. Throw those into a bowl. Got half a carrot. I'll just cut on the angle so I can roughly julienne them, nothing too fancy. So doing this one, just stack about 3 pieces on top of each other, keeping the fingers tucked in. Just finally cutting the strips there of the carrot. those in. Take some cucumber. About a third of a cucumber will be plenty. Just going to cut these on the angle. Also got some snow peas here. I've already taken the tops off these, so I'm just going to give them one angle cut in half. End of our snow pea season, so making the most of it. Snow peas are one of those things that's quite fun to grow in the summertime. They grow fairly easily, and as long as you've got something to tie them up against, the back of a fence, or you can put a few bits of bamboo and some rope, they generally climb up anything pretty easily, and you get quite a nice yield from even just the one row of snow peas. Meanwhile, our pot is almost at the boil here, so I'll get our soba noodles ready. So soba noodles are made out of buckwheat. Buckwheat being gluten-free, so they're quite good for those of you out there that try to stay away from the regular wheat, although you just need to be careful to read the packet first, because a lot of soba noodles do contain whole wheat as well as the buckwheat. They are fairly delicate to work with, so you do need to be quite gentle. They'll take around, in most cases, 3 to 4 minutes to cook. And it's important that you don't overcook these ones. If you overcook them, they'll just mash to pieces really fast. So as we're making a salad, I'm going to cook them, take them off just before they're ready, and then cool them down immediately. So our pot's come to the boil here. Pop those in gently. Just give it a moment, just to let the sheets soften, and then you can gently prod them down. Just stir them gently at the start, loosening them up, making sure they're not sticking together. Just check the time, make sure I don't overcook those. This is a cold dish, but these are also quite nice to use in hot dishes and stir fries or soups. If you are using them in a hot dish, you just need to be really aware of taking them off before they're cooked and then adding them back in right at the end of something. They're all nicely separated now. Buckwheat's a really good source of fibre for the body. Okay, so we'll check on our seaweed also. So you can see our seaweed's actually soaked up quite a lot of that water. Still feels it has a little bit of crunch in some of it. So just pat it down, make sure it's still covered with the water. I'll leave that for a couple more minutes. So to our salad, we're going to use some sesame oil. Sesame oil, there's no need to be shy with, you give it a good coating. I'm also going to put some sesame seeds in there. We've got some bean shoots, bean sprouts, some tamari. Tamari is a good alternative to soya sauce, being wheat free. We'll take some nice fresh coriander. The only real way to make sure you're not overcooking these, or to check them, is to gently pick one up, just squeeze it in the middle, breaking it in half, and if you feel it's raw then and there, you can just drop it back. If it feels okay, just give it a quick taste. Add another 30 seconds, so just while that's almost there, I'll get my colander ready. Place the colander in the sink. And we can turn that one off. Take it over to the sink. Strain it off. Just give the pot a quick rinse, let it cool. Back into the pot. And immediately you just run some cold water straight over the top of that. You want to cool those down as fast as you can. If you have any ice in the freezer handy, it's always good just to get that cooling effect immediately. It's important when you're doing something like this to really get your hands in there so you can feel it. Sometimes you get a bunch sticking together and the heat will stay within the bunch, and then next thing you know you've got a ball of overcooked noodles swimming around in your pot. So just really loosen them up, let them cool down properly. And strain them off once again. If you have used quite a lot of ice, just make sure you remove all the ice. You'll find in most cases it'll melt fairly quickly. We'll pop those back into our pot for now. And like pasta, you'll need to apply some oil immediately just so the noodles don't stick together. So I'll use a little bit of sesame oil, as that's the flavour we've already got going on in there. Give it a good mix around so the noodles are completely coated with the oil. And you can see there that they're holding nicely. If they're overcooked, they'd be starting to mash up and break now. These are holding nicely coated in oil, so we're not going to have any trouble. We'll just put those to one side now. Whilst I'm straining, I'll take care of the seaweed now also. Seaweed, same thing, just simply strain it off. Just give it a little press just to remove any excess moisture out of there. Pop it back in the bowl again. So you can see we've got some nice colours there, nice seaweeds. We've got some green, some brown, some clearer ones, some red ones. So we've got a nice mixture. And you can get these seaweed mixes just called seaweed mescalin. So they're quite tasty to add to your dish. So I've just chopped this coriander up. Keep the coriander quite rough for this dish. Take the juice of half a lemon, or lime's quite nice too if you've got those lying around. Making sure we don't get any seeds in there. Little cracked pepper. Probably won't need any salt because you've got a bit of tamari, and also the seaweed gives quite a salty flavour. Always get your bowl or plate that you're going to present it on close by. So once you start mixing, your hands are going to be well engaged in the project and you won't want to come out to get a clean bowl at that point. So we've got all our raw ingredients in here. We've got the tamari, the sesame seed, the lemon juice to dress it. So now we'll add some seaweed. I'll probably use about 3/4 of that amount. Got our noodles. Just give that a gentle mix. Trying to make sure you're coating in between everything. The noodles, the vegetables. This is one of those dishes that's got great fresh flavours in it. You've got lots of nice raw vegetables. Plus you've got some buckwheat in there also, and the seaweed with all its nutrients pretty much makes it a nicely rounded complete meal. Or can also just be a side to part of an Asian themed meal that you may be making. You can use tongs to mix, but I always find there's no tool better than your hand as long as you're making sure it's clean. And from here onto our dish. Never putting a sort of salad like this on a plate. Presentation wise, the more height you get, the more effective it's going to look. As you can see, you've got a lot of beautiful colours in there. So we'll just finish this one off with a piece of fresh lemon, sprig of coriander, the garnish, And there you have your seaweed and soba noodle salad. Complete meal, packed full of lots of nutrition, tasty, vibrant flavours. Enjoy.